Hi, I'm C.C. Péan, and this is Reclaiming Your Health. Hello, good evening, and welcome to Reclaiming Your Health. I am your host, C.C. Péan. Thank you so much for joining me this evening. I so look forward to Tuesday evenings, and I so look forward to doing them live. I know you all recognize when we do pre-recorded, but I'm so happy to be here live because I love to interact, and I just love the energy. I just love the energy. I'm so excited to join with you all on Tuesday evening. So thank you for coming. So this evening, you may have noticed that I'm doing something that we did before, but this one is with a slight twist. And one thing I like to do with you all is when I've worked on a recipe and I figured out a more efficient, tastier way of doing it, or if I've figured out how to do it gluten-free or with reduced sodium or something like that, I love to introduce you all to it. And so that is what I'm going to do this evening. And this evening we are doing a Panda Express. So this Panda Express one time when they decided to add vegan and vegetarian options, and I thought it was delicious, and I said I'm gonna go home and try it. The reason this recipe is different from our other cauliflower, like our buffalo cauliflower, or our, I think it was also like an Asian influenced cauliflower. Let me take the lid off of this. This water is going. The difference with this one is that we are going to parboil our cauliflower before we batter it and fry it. Why are we going to do that? Well, the reason we're going to do that, I'm going to take this, let's see. The reason we're going to do that is because we're assured of the cauliflower being fully cooked by the time it hits the oil. The other way we did it, you're baking it and it's, you've kind of got to bake it for a good long time. And sometimes you can over bake it so it's mushy. It doesn't really have that like al dente, which I like because when you're eating something, you want to have something substantial. You don't want something that's going to just mush in your mouth. So I like to blanch it because of that. Also, all you have to worry about when you're deep frying it after you've blanched it is getting the exterior crispy and brown. You don't have to worry about, ooh, has it been in there long enough? Is the cauliflower cooked? So this is the way I love to do it. And this way, this is something that you can use as a decadent vegan appetizer. You can use it as an entree with some kind of grain. You can use white rice, brown rice, you can use quinoa, or you could put it in a wrap. It would be delicious in a wrap, or even as a salad topper in place of where you would usually typically use chicken. So the stars for tonight's dish are cauliflower, of course. Cauliflower, and I called an audible. The recipe that I shared with you all had regular flour, but I'm going to use some gluten-free flour tonight and see how that turns out. I think I shared with you all a few weeks ago that my husband was transitioning into a more gluten-free lifestyle, so I'm really curious to see how this is going to work. The last thing that's featured this evening is this incredible teriyaki marinade I found by G. Hughes. It is sugar-free and it is relatively low sodium. For sweetness, they use pineapple juice and it's delicious. G. Hughes sugar-free teriyaki marinade. So that's what we're going to toss that bad boy up in our crispy cauliflower, our tempura cauliflower. So the first thing we're going to do is I have got a medium pot, let's see, it's about 12 quarts of water that I have let come to a boil. Okay? What we're going to do is we're going to get the core off of our cauliflower. And, it depends on how big you want your florets to be. You want them to have a substantial size, but you don't want them so big that they're, you know, they're difficult to fry. So the ones that I'm cutting, we're probably going to cut these in half again. Okay. And do a couple more. There we go. So I'm just going to cut these in half. You all can see what I'm doing. These are really big. You don't want them this big. I'd say like half that size. All right. And what I'm going to do is, okay, like that. I'm going to drop this in my boiling water, and I'm going to start my timer, and I'm going to blanch it for 2 minutes. This recipe goes really quick. And one of the keys to cooking so that you don't get flustered, so that you don't forget things, there's something that we learned in cooking school that's called mise en place. And what that means is you put all your ingredients, you measure them out and everything, so they're ready to go. So you're not like, oh my goodness, I'm trying to make this evening and I don't have this ingredient. When you prep ahead of time, you put everything out there so you know what you have, you know what you don't have, and what you need to get. So I've got all my stuff prepped. And if you look, there's really not that many things out here this evening because it is that simple of a recipe. So I'm simply dropping this into my boiling water so it can blanch. And I am starting my timer for 2 minutes. Just want to make sure that this is submerged. While this is blanching, you need to go ahead and get a large bowl, fill it halfway with ice, and then you're going to put some cold, some water in there. So I've got a bowl. I filled this up about 3/4 with ice, and then I added water to it. So it's almost to the top. There's enough room for the cauliflower to get in here. And we need this because after we have allowed this to blanch for 2 minutes, we want to stop the cauliflower from cooking. Because remember, we don't want it to be flat and too soft. We want it to still have some texture. So by creating this ice bath and putting the cauliflower in the ice bath, what it does is it stops it cooking. That's key. Do not try to make this recipe by just taking it out of the boiling water and then dipping it in the batter. It's not going to work. You don't want to do that. We want to shock it. So we've got 36 seconds left. I've got my strainer in the sink. There are times when I take this directly out the water and put it in the bowl, but I'm going to strain it all at one time this evening. Got 18 seconds left. And this is just beyond fork tender. It's not quite fork tender. Okay. Okay, there's our 2 minutes. This is coming off. We're going to drain it. And we're going to immediately drop it into our ice bath. Okay, make sure that this is completely submerged because you want to stop it from cooking. So I'm comfortable with my hands being in here. You might want to put on gloves. Whatever floats your boat works. And I'm just going to hold it down in there until I feel the warmth from the cauliflower is gone. That's our key. We want to stop it from cooking because as long as it remains hot, it's going to continue to cook and soften. And we don't want that. Excellent. And that's why it's key for you to do the water and the ice and make sure it's really cold. So you can even do it before you boil, which is what I did. Okay, this is great. So now I'm just gonna, this is chilled. I'm taking this out of here. Okay. And now, the next key to making this teriyaki cauliflower is after you have cooled it off, the next thing you want to do is you want to season this. One of the mistakes that people make is that they only season the batter. That doesn't work. You want to season this throughout. Okay? And the reason you want to do that, let's check and see. My temperature is. The reason you want to do that is because you want flavor throughout. Remember, we've talked about building layers of flavor. And I want to approach this cauliflower as I would if I were fixing a piece of chicken, if I were fixing a piece of fish, a piece of tofu. You want to season this well. So what do I have here? I have some garlic powder. I'm gonna sprinkle that on top. It's about a tablespoon of garlic powder, a tablespoon of onion powder, not onion salt, not garlic salt, onion powder and garlic powder. Then I have some Mrs. Dash that I'm using here, and I can use this liberally. It's salt-free. Then I'm actually going to add a little bit of cumin. I mean, I want this to have great flavor. Okay, and then finally, just a pinch of salt. And so I'm gonna just toss this. Now, optimally, when you do this, you can do this and you can leave this in your refrigerator. You could season it earlier in the day, you can season it overnight, just drop it in your refrigerator, and it's, you know, you want it to be cool, so there's no problem with that. And then we're gonna set this aside and we're gonna work on our batter. So in our batter, again, I have used gluten-free flour. So I've used a third cup of gluten-free flour. I've used 2/3 cups of cornstarch, a teaspoon of baking powder, a 1/4 teaspoon of baking soda, and the same exact ingredients that I seasoned my cauliflower with, I've also got in my bowl. And I do that because I want layers of flavor. I want that seasoning all the way through. Okay, so I'm using my whisk to make sure that this is well blended and incorporated. I'm going to do just a pinch of salt. Of course, you can go without it because there is going to be some salt in that sauce that we toss it in. And that's why I suggested that you get a low sodium salt, a low sodium sauce. Okay, another key ingredient to really light, fluffy tempura is to use club soda. That effervescence, that carbonation makes it really light. Let me just move my pan over here so we can get ready to fry. So your club soda has to be ice cold. So what I did is I just put it in a cup with some ice and then I just drained it off. So it's about 3/4 cup. And I'm just going to gradually add that. And I'm going to whisk. Whisk this. And a little more. It is going to froth up a little bit. I can already tell that the gluten-free flour is a little thicker. So we're going to have to use a little more elbow grease to get this mixed, but it's looking beautiful. And what you want to make sure is that there are no lumps in this. Okay? It's almost like the consistency of pancake batter. If you're a pancake maker, you know exactly what I'm talking about. You want it to have a little bit of run to it, but you don't want it to be too thin. You don't want it to be too thick. So I would say the consistency of pancake batter is just right. I purchased a little gadget the other day, which is this laser thermometer where I'm able to, it's an infrared thermometer, so I can check the temperature of my foods. If if something needs to be a certain temperature in the oven when it comes out, or if I need to have 350 degrees to fry, I'm able to check it. This is a great little gadget. I got this on Amazon for like 25 bucks. So I'm checking my oil and it is too hot. So I'm going to let this come down a little bit. Because I want it to fry, but I don't want it to fry too quickly. I don't want it to burn. I want it to get that nice golden brown. And so since I'm waiting for that, I'm going to keep whisking this to make sure it doesn't get thick. Let me just do some cleaning up here. Okay, and let's see. All righty, let's check this temperature again. Righty, should be just about right. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to dip and directly from this bowl, I'm going to get it into that hot grease. Now, this is a decadent vegan dish. This is not your typical super healthy vegan dish. Every once in a while, we can indulge and still keep it vegan, and that's what we're doing this evening. So if you don't like to fry, you can refer to our other recipe where we did it oven baked, and you can try that. You don't have to do it this way, but if you want to try something a little different, it's football season, you know, you've got games that are going to be coming up on Sundays. This is a great substitute for your typical meat protein chicken wings. Like I said, it's great in as its own. It's great as an entree. It's great in a filling. It's great on top of the salad. So, you know, if you're more of the, you don't want to do fried things, I get it, I understand, then don't do this one, do the other recipe. But for those of you who like to have a little something decadent every now and then, this is for you. All right, I'm gonna get close here, and I've already got my rack here with a towel underneath it so that when I take my cauliflower wings out, they can rest on this, and if there's any oil, it will go through. It will not settle on the cauliflower wing, and it will not make it gooey. It's gonna stay nice and crisp. So this is going directly into the batter. And we're going to let a little bit fall off of it. We're going to let whatever runs off. And we're putting it in the oil. And it is sizzling. It is sizzling. Number 2. I hope my alarm doesn't go off, people. That would be eventful. And remember, this cauliflower is already blanched, so it is partially cooked, so it's not going to take long in this oil. What we're really focusing on is the crisping up, getting it to that beautiful golden brown color. Okay. Another one. So I don't want to overcrowd this because I don't want the temperature to drop too much. When the temperature drops, it doesn't fry crisp and quickly, and it starts to suck up the oil. Hey, Erin, how are you? So this is a super easy recipe. And I know you all think, oh, Cynthia's a professional cook, so that's why it's easy. No, this is a super easy, yummy, yummy, yummy recipe. Matter of fact, my husband is waiting to eat. I told him, don't eat. We're doing this for dinner tonight. I've got some quinoa that I fixed with some scallions and some peas for him. I have some rice that I did for you all just for presentation. This is frying beautifully. It could not fry more beautifully. And I think our gluten-free flour is going to be just fine. And actually, it likely is because there's more cornstarch than flour that this is happening. Cornstarch makes it fry up super crispy. Oh, yeah. So I'm going to flip it over now. One of my clients, Taya Cooper, that I was cooking for, this past summer I was cooking for Alvin Kamara, and Taya was there, and Taya got tired of chicken and things like that. So she asked me to come up with something for her, and that's when I started to really work on refining this recipe. And she loved it. She thought it tasted like chicken. So this is a great recipe that I think the meat lovers in your family and your life will love this. All right, so while those are finishing up, I'm going to just dip a few more of these into more than one. I'll do some of the smaller ones this time. And if you can see, you all, I have a good amount of the garlic powder, the onion powder, the Mrs. Dash. We have the cumin on here. So we've got this well seasoned. And just a pinch of salt. Not a lot of salt, just a pinch. Remember, we're being vigilant about that. Salt can do terrible things to you people. I actually have a family member who is dealing with the results of hypertension. And this hypertension, the medication they have out there, people, once you get on that, you can't get off. And it wreaks havoc on your body. One of my loved ones is actually dealing with that now, and it breaks my heart. So I have told myself, Cynthia, you need to use less and less salt. And that's what I'm aiming at doing, that and also gluten-free. All right, so our cauliflower is done. Our first batch is done. And can you see that? You see how that's beautiful and golden brown? Yeah. Beautiful. These are still kind of big. I could have done them a little smaller. These actually are a little smaller. So let's see. Okay, so the temperature has dropped a bit. So I'm gonna let the temperature get back up. It's at 308 degrees. It needs to be at 350, and it needs to be at 350. Why? Because if the oil is not hot enough, the food is going to soak up oil. It won't fry. It'll just soak up oil, and you'll just have a greasy, soaked mess, and we don't want that. So we're going to get that temperature back up. My little handy dandy. Okay, just a few more seconds. But I also suggested this evening that you all could make your own sauce. That's always an option. You know, you can use something as simple as just like, you know, like a pineapple juice and a little bit of low sodium soy sauce. And you can use that and just a touch of either flour or cornstarch to thicken it up, and you've got a great a great sauce to toss this in. I'm going Asian style. It doesn't have to be Asian style. You can do it with something else. If you wanted to just do this Italian style and some marinara, I wouldn't toss it. I would probably just drizzle it. But there's so many different things that you can do with this. I don't know if you all can hear. Can you hear that? That's the crispiness. That's what you want to hear, that crispiness. And this gluten-free flour from Bob's is awesome. Okay. Just a little more. I'm going to go ahead and drop these in. Okay. And we've got one more. Who all is on tonight? Who do we have? Ooh, I've got to hurry up. It's 8:27. My goodness. So once these are done, I'm going to get ready to do my plating. Move this out the way. I'm going to get my bowl. Put these in here because I'm going to toss these in the sauce while those other ones cook. Put a little rice in my bowl. Okay, so we've got our rice there. I'm going to take this sauce and I'm just going to drizzle it on top. Toss this a little bit in there. Now, once you toss it, you have to serve it immediately because that sauce is going to break down that crispiness. Okay, just more. Just a little more. All righty. Move this out the way. And I'm going to place this in my bowl. Man, time goes by quickly. I mean, I would have sworn it was like 8:15. And this last piece. Make sure this is good and coated. Just gonna go there. And then of course, you know, your girl has to garnish. So we're gonna do some thinly sliced scallions on here, the tops and the bottoms, and some sesame seeds. And folks, in under 30 minutes, you have got a Panda Express teriyaki cauliflower dupe on the table. There you go. So this is our Panda Express dupe of crispy teriyaki cauliflower. A little bit of rice on the side. We've got this delicious sugar-free teriyaki marinade from G. Hughes. I got this at Publix. It's a great product. We use gluten-free flour instead of regular flour. So this is actually a gluten-free dish. Yum. Reclaiming your health every Tuesday at 8 p.m. Join us and contact us. Let us know what you want to learn how to make. Let me know what you would like to see. Maybe you saw me do something one way before and you want to see, well, can you do that without gluten? Can you do that without, I don't know, something else? Let us know what you want to see. We're looking to you all for ideas. I'm going to continue frying up this cauliflower, but it's been great having you all this evening, and I'll see you next week. Bye-bye.